Hormozi has famously said that service-based agencies are the easiest business models to start with because of how easy it is to start one. Also, he has hired dozens of agencies to help him grow his social media presence and his businesses. So if there's a person that can give us advice on how to grow a creative agency, it is the 100 million man himself. In this video, what we're gonna do is we're going to see what he has to say about creative agencies and how you can use his advice to grow your creative agency as well.
I think that agencies tend to fall into the bucket of trying to be everything to everyone, maintaining the discipline to be very focused on the problem that you're solving and who you're solving it for. And I think that solves 90% of the problems from a strategic perspective for any small business owner, including an agency.
So this was 100% me when I first started my agency. I would say yes to everything. Website development, I'd do videos, I'd do graphic design, I'd do anything. And it was simply because of fear of missing out. And what happened, I would say yes to way too many things. I would be super overwhelmed and I would end up doing a bunch of random stuff for a bunch of people. And it is completely unscalable because the only way to actually create a process and scale something is to have processes behind it. And if it's just me doing everything and me saying yes to everything, it's just not a very scalable model. One thing that I always drill into creative agencies, being that solution to the very specific pain points. And we work a ton foundationally when it comes to creating an offer that's repeatable, scalable, and profitable as well. Couldn't agree with him more. Love that he says 90% of the problems could be solved if we just solve this.
The second piece is that if you're in a service-based business, the quality of your talent is going to be directly proportional to your growth. You're basically selling people, fractionalized people. That's what service businesses are, right? You're selling some level of training that you're able to give and having more efficiency than an individual business owner would have.
We see all these ads. We see all these people posting about agencies, how we're going to be able to generate 10 deals for you every single month. But very rarely is there talent quality. And, I learned this the hard way. We grew and scaled pretty quickly and we were sort of needing to hire to keep up with demand. We had no idea how to hire. And we were like, let's just bring somebody in and they can start doing the work. They can start editing the videos. They can start shooting the videos. They can start posting on social media. And what happened was we had no expectations. We had no training process. We had no onboarding process. What ended up happening was, we would either realize too late that we didn't hire an A player and have to make some hard decisions, or we would get walked all over and there's just a lot of frustration and unmet expectations. One of the big things that we always talk about inside of agency and what we built out was a talent acquisition funnel. So I think about talent acquisition just as I think about client acquisition. We need a funnel. We need to get a lot of potential people when it comes to talent, and we need to make sure that we're finding those A players. And then it doesn't stop there. Then we have to deliver on the talent, which means training, good system, SOP library, feeding into them, making sure that they're set up for success based off of how your creative eye and how your creative agency is in fact set up.
And so the quality of that talent and the culture that you have at the business to attract and keep that talent are the kind of the key or the crucial pieces of the success of the model.
I also love that he said the culture, and that's something that Layla, his wife, talks a lot about, and I resonate quite a bit because culture is not something you realize that you need until you start having a team and you start becoming a little bit of HR, but really valuable stuff here.
How agencies want you to think they work and how I've used them over time. What I realized was that they have a different way that they want you to think they work. So they are lead getting service businesses, just to give you a definition. You pay them to run ads, do outreach, or package and distribute content. That's what advertising agencies do. And so typically they will onboard you as a customer. You will get results because they put the best guy in your account. And then they will switch to a junior rep who will give you poor results. And then they pop the senior rep back in to try and manage a little bit. And then eventually you can't.
Super interesting what he's saying here. Because what happens is as you grow and scale, you put precedence on the senior rep and you want the senior rep on the newest account that you are going to get because you want to impress this new client that you're getting. And then you need more bandwidth at your agency. So you need to bring on somebody else that can fulfill for the people who have been there a little bit longer. Maybe they've built rapport. My key takeaway here is we don't want our clients to be feeling like that. But I think the result of clients feeling like that is that we're not being careful with our capacity and we're not being careful with how we're hiring and how we're onboarding people. And that's where the clients may feel this specific way. If we're booming and best guy runs out of time, of course we need to hand off a client to potentially another person. And that client could potentially feel like crap if they're handed off.
So here's my list of things that I look for in an agency. So number one is that I want somebody I know who got good results working with them. So word of mouth, ding, 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 ring a bell. Hey, do you know anybody who runs a lot of Hulu ads? And I'm asked my network. Some people get back to me. I'll be like, cool, great. Now I have a short list of people.
How I see this is if I'm a creative agency, I want to make sure that I'm actually sharing my wins. How you can do this without Alex needing to post on social media, know anybody who's a creative agency that I could help out with, is by making sure that you're building your personal brand and building your brand's brand on social media and sharing the wins from your clients. The more consistent you are with that, then when Alex does post or somebody does post about it, who are they going to think of? The person that's been posting and building the brand and adding value and being really specific. I'll also say the other thing that I caught from him was who's somebody that does something really specific for me, where he's asking for specialists. So again, we need to make sure our offer is being a specialist and not generalist.
Number 3, a waiting list. That's what I like a lot. Be real with you. When demand for service exceeds the supply, they're probably pretty good. And the best agencies grow off word of mouth.
Interesting on the wait list, something I've never tested out, but I think what I hear for creative agencies is being cognizant of your capacity. If we're going too fast, then there's only so much time with the amount of people that you have. But if you're going too fast and you run out of time, then your delivery is going to be crap. Being cognizant of how much capacity that your team can handle and what your current structure is like until you need to make that next hire is a really interesting thing that he brought up that got me thinking specifically about that.
Number 4, a clear sales process that makes a point to set realistic expectations.
Love this. Any frustration is an unmet expectation, especially in the sales. When we're super excited, we want to close the deal, we want to help them go viral, whatever it could be. And then the client says, oh, this is going to help me get 100,000 views, right? We want to say yes. We want to say like we promise that it's going to happen, or we want to say that this could get you business. If your offer is just creative and your deliverable is just content, you can't really promise it, especially if you're doing short form video or social media content for people. How do we set those realistic expectations? I think that realistic expectations create respect. How I always do it is I say, okay, we have offline metrics and offline metrics. Offline metrics are what are customers saying about you, are more people talking about you, et cetera, et cetera. And then we have the online metrics is what we can track, which is analytics, social media, any analytics metrics that we have plugged into their accounts that we can in fact track from an online perspective. And those two coupled together help drive the actual result that we are promising to you.
Number 5, no short-term hack. This is a big one. Keep the talk on long-term strategy. And they also give clear timelines for setup, scaling, and results. I'm not optimizing for viral videos. I'm optimizing for strongest brand. And so you want to make sure that what they are set up for is what you ultimately want.
My takeaway here is making sure that our offer actually produces a result that the clients want. What I always say, especially to creative agencies, is like, if you were to sell just strategy, could you sell that? How do we create strategy as our number one line item that involves the long term of strategy to solve a specific problem? Because what happens oftentimes is we see ourselves as order takers, video editors, videographers. How do we come up with a strategy that sets up the clients for long-term success versus, okay, cool, I'm gonna edit a couple of videos, help you go viral, do some weird stuff, and it's gonna work for a little bit, but it's going to die down eventually over time. How do we attach our offer to an actual result, which makes clients picking the right agency pretty much a no-brainer?
Number 7, they suggest, this is key, they suggest regular scheduled meetings and offer several ways to update me on their progress.
Always suggest this. The minute somebody says yes to working with you is the minute they have buyer's remorse. So we suggest at least monthly strategy calls and then keeping them up to date and then embedding them into a Slack channel where communication is super heavy. Because again, the minute they say, I want to work with you is the minute they start have buyer's remorse and second guess wanting to work with you. In this video, Alex Hormozi went over a lot of the best practices that you can use for your agency, but how do you actually scale and get clients? To learn how to do this, go ahead and click on this video and I'll review to you the exact steps that I would take if I were to start a creative agencies from scratch and scale it from 0 to $1 million. All right, thanks so much for watching, guys. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe. We'll see you on the next one.